As you can see from the title of the video, this is about the one book that changed my life. And I wanted to share it with you guys. Today I'm just going to read the first chapter and kind of go through it as we talk about it. But I wanted to share it with you guys because it was absolutely life-changing for me. Now, the title of the book can be a little bit misleading. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. It's actually this book right here. I think I showed it in the last video, but it's called The Science of Getting Rich. Now, when I first started talking to people about this video, a lot of people said, "Oh, it's like it's a step-by-step book on how to get rich, but it's not like step 1, save your money. Step 2, invest in stocks. Step 3, it's a step-by-step guide on how to change your mindset into a better light and more positive. And it's not all about positivity and being a happy-go-lucky person. It's about shifting your mind to a different thought process. So I wanted to get on today and just read the first chapter with you guys and kind of just go through some of the words in the book. Now, a lot of people are probably like, I don't read books. I hadn't, before I read this book, which by the way, I've read over 15 times now in the last about 13 months, maybe a little longer than that, maybe 14 months. I've read this book over 15 times. So I read it more than once a month all the way through and studied the heck out of it. Like I have as you can see, I've, went through it a couple different times. I love this book. It really did change my mind completely. Like the first time I read this book, I sat down. It's like 150 pages or something. It's not a hard read, and it will definitely help you kind of shift your mind into a better light. So I wanted to read the first chapter. Like I said, I hadn't read a book before I read this since maybe high school, maybe middle school, like all the way through. I sat down, I read this thing all the way through in 2 days. So it's really good. It's not hard to digest, where I think like Think and Grow Rich and like some of the other books that I have now since read. By the way, Think and Grow Rich is an amazing book. If you've never heard of it, buy yourself a copy and try to get through it. It's a little bit harder to get through than a book like this. I think this book is very easy to read. The words, it's very easy to read. I would highly suggest going through it at least once and taking some time. So I just wanted to read chapter 1 and kind of go over some of the ideas that are in this book, where it's not step-by-step on how to get rich. It's more of a step-by-step on how to be a better person in order for the wealth to come to you, which intrigued me completely. So it's chapter 1, The Right to be Rich. Whatever may be said in praise of poverty, the fact remains that it is not possible to live a really complete or successful life unless one is rich. Everybody knows that. If you don't have money, it's hard to enjoy your life because you're always trying to work to keep up with your bills or payments, anything like that. No one can rise to their greatest possible height in talent or soul development unless they have plenty of money. For to unfold the soul and to develop talent, they must have many things to use, and they cannot have these things unless they have money to buy them. They develop in mind, soul, and body by making use of things. And society is so organized that people must have money in order to become the possessor of things. Things cost money. And usually a lot of money if you really are looking for something to enjoy. Therefore, the basis of all advancement for people must be the science of getting rich. The object of all life is development. Humans always want to get more, want to be more, have more. And everything that lives has the inevitable right to all the development it is capable of obtaining. Man's right to life means their right to have the free and unrestricted use of all things which may be necessary to their fullest mental, spiritual, and physical unfoldment. Or in other words, their right to be rich. In this book, I shall not speak of the riches in a figurative way. To be really rich does not mean to be satisfied or content with a little. No person ought to be satisfied with a little if they have the capable of using and enjoying more. The purpose of nature is the advancement and unfoldment of life, and every person should have all that they can contribute to the power, elegance, beauty, and richness of life. To be content with less is sinful. I'm no professional reader, guys, so if I'm stuttering over words a little bit, sorry about that. The man who owns, and by the way, I'm trying to change because this book was written in 1910, so it says man, he, they. I'm trying to change all the words kind of to include everybody into it. So they, he, whatever, people. The person who owns all he wants for the living of of life, he is capable of living, is rich. And no person who has not plenty of money can have all that they want. Life has advanced so far and become so complex that even the most ordinary man or woman requires a great amount of wealth in order to live in a manner that even approaches completeness. Now, I highlighted that part because, man, like everything these days is so hard to obtain. Like it's hard to pay rent. It's hard to get food. Everything costs so much money. So you really do need more money to enjoy life, because right now you probably feel like you're just running a race to make sure all your bills are paid, your rent is paid, you're eating good, your kids are fed, whatever. Every person naturally wants to become all that they are capable of becoming. This desire to realize innate possibilities is inherent in human nature. We cannot help wanting to be all that we can be. Success in life is becoming what you want to be. You can become what you want to be only by making use of these things. And you can have the free use of things only as you become rich enough to buy them. Is that not true? To understand the science of getting rich is therefore the most essential of all knowledge. There is nothing wrong in wanting to get rich. The desire for riches is really the desire for a richer, fuller, and more abundant life. And that desire is praiseworthy. The man who does not desire to live more abundantly is abnormal. And so the person who does not desire to have money enough to buy all that they want is abnormal. There are three motives for which we live. We live for the body, we live for the mind, and we live for the soul. No one of these things is better or holier than the other. All are alike desirable, and no one of the three, mind, body, or soul, can live fully if either of the others is cut short of full life and expression. It is not right or noble to live only for the soul and deny the mind or body, and it is wrong to live for the intellect and deny body and soul. We are all acquainted with the loathsome consequences of living for the body and denying both mind and soul. Now, this was a big thing. When I first read this book, I actually highlighted this whole part. But when I first read this book, I was like, man, I feel like I haven't been feeding my soul. I haven't been feeding my mind, because I stopped reading books years ago. I stopped trying to learn a long time. Like after I graduated I went to college. So after I was in college and I was like, oh, I got all the knowledge I need, not physical knowledge, but like mentally, I know math, I know science. I'm not even going to worry about it. So that part kind of hit me big when I first read this book. We are all acquainted with the loathsome consequence of living for the body and denying both mind and soul. And we see that real life means the complete expression of all that person can give forth through body, mind, and soul. Whatever they may say, no person can be really happy or satisfied unless their body is living fully in every function, and unless the same is true of their mind and their soul. Wherever there is unexpressed possibility or function not performed, there is unsatisfied desire. Desire is possibility seeking expression, or function seeking performance. Man cannot live fully in body without good food, comfortable clothing, and warm shelter, and without freedom from excessive toil. Rest and recreation are also necessary for their physical life. You need to have fun sometimes. That was one thing I actually have struggled with, is not thinking that I need, recreational things in my life, like having a good time, maybe not working all the time, not the hustle, the grind mindset, He cannot live fully in mind without books and time to study them, without opportunity for travel and observation, or without intellectual companionship. To live fully in mind, he must have intellectual recreations, and he must surround himself with all of the objects of art and beauty they are capable of using and appreciating. To live fully in soul, man must have love, and love is denied expression by poverty. So a lot of people think that men have a hard time finding love without money. So that's not always true, but if you're poor and maybe homeless or whatever, you have a hard time finding somebody to spend time with. Not always true. Men's highest happiness is found in the bestowal of benefits on those he loves. Love finds its most natural and spontaneous expression in giving. The man who has nothing to give cannot fill his place as a husband or father, as a citizen, or as a man. It is in the use of material things that man finds full life for his body, develops his mind, and unfolds his soul. It is therefore of supreme importance to him that he should be rich. It is perfectly right that you should desire to be rich. If you are a normal man or woman, you cannot help doing so. It is perfectly right that you should give your best attention to the science of getting rich, for it is the noblest and most necessary of all studies. If you neglect this study, you are derelict in your duty to yourself, to God, and to humanity. You can render God and humanity no better service than to make the most of yourself. So I was actually talking to somebody that has studied this book heavily. And when we read that last sentence of that chapter right there, it was kind of like when you're in the plane and you put the mask on first and then you help other people. The best thing you can do is to help yourself first, because then you can really help other people or even inspire other people to do better in their lives. So if someone sees you doing really well in life that knows that you weren't always like that, they might feel inspired and feel like, oh man, I feel like I can do that too. And I feel like that's actually come pretty full circle for me in my life, where a lot of closer friends of mine from in high school or afterwards, they see what I'm doing now and they reach out and they're like, man, like it's inspiring to see you. I'm going to the gym. I'm doing this. I'm doing, and it's like, I'm happy, man. Like that's exactly what I'm meant to do, is to increase other people's lives. And if you read to the end of the chapter, go out and buy this book. You don't need to buy the hard copy because it's like $30, but I would suggest to buy the hard copy. I have studied this book hard, and I'm going to continue doing the chapters of this book in a series on YouTube. If you like it, though, go out and buy it and try to read it for yourself. The Science of Getting Rich by W.D. Wattles. I highly recommend it. It's one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life. And that's what caused my true first mindset shift, was this book and the person that showed it to me. So, if you enjoy it, go out and buy it. If not, keep reading along with me, and maybe we'll get you interested in the science of getting rich. And really, it's about getting rich in your mind, not about getting rich physically. You get rich from your mind getting rich. So once you have it in the mind, it's going to come naturally to you. Instead of grinding, you can get it with ease.